Living with Suzuki Vstrom SX. Here is my review. Okay, so let's start with my plan of buying a Vstrom 250. I was already having a Honda Civic 350 RS, with which I was having a very bad experience from the big wing Honda. Although it was absolutely cracker to ride until I had to visit the service center, which is very limited as you know, and the waiting time to get my bike service was pretty exhausting. It took almost a day to get my bike serviced, which was not very okay for me. This was getting over and over, and one fine day I decided to let go of the CB350 RS. Although it was an excellent bike, I will say, let down by the poor service of Honda. So one fine day I went to Suzuki and exchanged the CB350 RS from the flagship dealership of Suzuki in Bangalore. It's called Aryan Suzuki. They have all kind of super bikes as well as everyday commuters. So the delivery experience was pretty fine, and I would rate them 4 out of 5. There are a few accessories issue, but later it was solved. But it was pretty okay. The dealership is one of the best you can get your Suzuki motorcycles from in Bangalore. So I have done more than 1500 kilometers in my bike, and I used motul oil which was provided by the Suzuki themselves in the first service. So the first service nothing major happened, as you know, with all the bikes or cars. They just check and just replace the oil if it is needed, and that's it. So now comes the biggest question regarding the bike itself. Is the bike a good tourer or just another city bike which is only jacked up with the specs like the raised handlebar, the suspension, or is there any major change or anything? So I will say that the bike is good. The specs has been increased compared to the Gixxer 250. I can feel from the suspension that it's a soft, and it's a perfect companion for the long tours, and it will keep munching miles without any fatigue. For city, if you know how to ride a tall bike, you will find this bike at home, so there is no issue in riding the city. Yes, it does heat up, but it's just like the case with any other bike above 200cc. Regarding the suspension, it's soft, it's not hard by any means. If you ride a KTM or a street bike like the MT-15, so the suspension is soft compared to those, but not as plush as Himalaya or even the X-Pulse. It's not even close to that. I will rate it's just a soft. Can take the sudden bumps without any thuds, which should make it do all the duties in everyday life as well as the highways. In short, the bike feels solid in fit and finish, with the hardware built to last long. There is no issue with the fit and finish. It's a notch above if you compare even with the KTM's adventure models. You see the wire danglings in that chassis and everywhere, but in Suzuki you won't find any wire dangling anywhere. It has been neatly hidden, and everything is tucked behind the panel properly. The panel matches all the gaps and everything is proper. The engine is refined, and like a typical Suzuki, you can do the speeds about 100 to 110 with pillion and luggage without any drama. There is no lag or anything related to the power. It's evenly distributed, and the max bhp is 26.5, which is okay for Indian riding conditions. This should make it a perfect highway machine if you love to do double up. It has got a top rack and slots to add full-size crash cards, so you can add accessories as well as the crash card. There is a lot of luggage which has option to be mounted on the crash card, as well as you can carry the jerry cans. And also it has a wider handlebar, which makes the bike to maneuver in the city very easily, and in the cramped spaces especially you can balance the bike even though it's a very tall. The mileage on this bike is around 32 to 40 kmpl depending on your riding conditions and your speeds. The best mileage I got was around 40 kmpl. In between I was riding 80 to 90 kmph. So if you do that, you will get easily 40 and even more than that. So coming to the instrument panel, it's one of the best in class. It has got everything right from the auto, trip, mileage, RPM, phone notification, maps, gear shift. So there is nothing to complain in this instrument console. The map part is little gimmick, I would say, even though if it was not given, I didn't mind. The most important accessories what you get from the factory is the USB charger. As you know, the current scenario, everyone has a smartphone, everyone need to be it to be charged during a tour. So USB charging port is directly from the factory and it does charge well. It's not a very fast charger, but it will do the job. To sum up, this bike is made in India and it's made for India. If you love touring and want a very practical machine with less complicated electronics and a fairly low maintenance cost, this is the bike you can consider. The one big letdown from the bike, I would say, is the exhaust note. It's a very very low, it's just like sounds like a commuter, very soft sound. It should have a little bassy sound just like a Himalayan, I will say. If they would have given this, it would have been a cracker of a deal. It would have sound good, it moves fast, soft suspension, everything is perfect in the bike. So far it's been good experience. Let's see how long I keep the bike. See you, bye bye.